Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is the JLB Rapid Reaction Football Show, number 5. I am Laika Abibi, reporter extraordinaire, in my opinion. To my right, of course, is the owner of WJG Sports, Kai Jones. It was a crazy week 8. We had some insane results. Some teams did what they were supposed to do, and some teams made statements in a win and even in a loss, in my opinion.
Right. So I figured, we had kind of coming up here on the home end of the
We're in the final third of the season.
Of the year.
Man, already?
Yeah. So the fourth quarter of the season coming through, fiscal year type. I figured let's do some stock.
Some stock? Like
Yeah.
stock? Oh my goodness. You really brought out the bell?
We brought a bell. We got a bell for the stock market here. Whenever we think a team stock is going up or they're holding up,
We'll ring it?
then we'll ring it.
Well, so what team would you like to start with, Kai?
Let's start with one of your teams, North Lenore.
Well, let me tell you what North Lenore did yesterday. A 20-10 win over a West Craven team that was thought of to be a conference championship contender, along with the Washington Panthers. By me. Who was they were 3-0 coming into that game in conference play, but North Lenore came in and completely outplayed them, out-game planned them. They won 20-10. In my opinion, after this victory, you gotta ring that bell, Kai. You gotta ring it. Stock up, baby!
Stock up.
The North Lenore Hawks stock is up. They're now 1 win away from tying their school record for wins, which is 8. They'll have a couple good chances to do it in their last few games. Jim Collins and his staff deserve a lot of credit for.
They pulled out the Fumblerooski last
Yes,
night.
they did. Austin Dilley picked up the ball and ran around the right side for a touchdown in the first half. I didn't know what happened when I saw it on the Noose News Facebook Live broadcast. By the way, Graham Hill and Parker Mitchell did a great job with that. But it's just a statement win. Of course, Justin Cobb had an interception in the fourth quarter. Then Najee Coons sealed the deal with a touchdown. And then Blake Davis with another interception, which officially ended the game. And Blake Davis is someone I'm really happy to see back on the field. Of course, he had a neck injury earlier in the year. This is his third game back last night. And for him to get the game-sealing pick was really cool. But in my opinion, the stock is up for North Lenore after this win.
Right. I think mine is still kind of a little holding. That loss against Washington still kind of sticks with me for them.
That's a good point.
Just because,
That's a great team, though.
Yeah, it is a great team. So I think North Lenore is definitely a playoff team. I think that they've definitely proved that. I don't know how deep they'll go. But I think their stock is holding for me, and holding upwards.
Well, that's a lot better than what you are giving a little credit.
Yeah. The one thing is they have to beat Kinston in my eyes to really secure a home playoff win, which of course I think they have Kinston in 2 weeks, November 1st.
So if they can beat Clinton, the bell will ring for you?
Yeah, they beat Kinston, we'll ring the bell.
All right.
It'll go up. But great job for them.
They deserve
a lot of credit. They already had 7 wins, second most in school history, first time since 2003. I think that really
a year after a winless season.
I think for sure that you're looking at least 8 wins just because they have Sophomore, and I believe that they'll probably beat Sophomore.
And that would be such a great season for them after going winless last year.
Of course, losing to Sophomore, I think for the first time, I think since 2005, if I remember correctly.
Well, if they can beat Kinston and South Lenore, they will have the Jimmy Smith Cup. Of course, Kinston has been consistent in holding on to that trophy. I know they'll definitely want to keep it, of course, but North Lenore, I believe, has a shot at it. I think it'll be between them and Kinston.
Yeah.
So,
and then they have Aiden Grifton next week, correct?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah.
I'll be at Aiden Grifton in Littlefield, so that'll be a really good football game.
Speaking of Aiden Grifton, stock up, stock down. They took down South Lenore
53 to 8.
53 to 8.
I'm going to say holding.
Okay.
Aiden Grifton has kind of been up
Do you think
against
it's holding in an up or
holding in an up way.
Okay.
Of course, there's not a you shouldn't really doubt a Paul Cornwell coach team, of course.
Right.
They just got Michael Webb back, about 178 yards and 4 touchdowns last night in a big win over South and North, of course. They needed that win. They needed to get off the schneid in conference play. Is there a chance of the conference title? Probably over, I would say yes. But they could still make a run here, get to the playoffs, and they have a few games that they can win. I would give them a good shot against North Lenore and against Green Central, upcoming for them. And I believe they still have to play Kinston. So they're gonna have to scrape some wins out. But I'm gonna say holding in an up direction. What would you say?
I will say that it is down right now.
Ooh,
I think they're going down. Just because when you look at who they've got left, they've got Kinston,
North Lenore next week.
North Lenore next week, Green Central.
Yeah.
So you're looking at that's three of the toughest teams back to back to back. Kinston will give them their best shot. North Lenore knows that if it wants to win the conference championship, then you got to win the rest of
They have to win out and hope Washington slips up somewhere.
And hope Washington loses to West Craven and create a 3-way tie.
Yeah, that game will be November 1st, and that's happened before. Yes,
has happened before in this conference. So it's very possible that could happen. So I think that just going down. I mean, I think at best when you look at that schedule, the best you're going to get is probably 2-1. I mean, the best you can probably get is probably 2-1, 1-2, somewhere in that range.
I'll still give you 6-4 record.
Yeah, that'll give you 6-4. I mean, but I just don't see it. I mean, then you look at the weak teams they play in non-conference. If you only finish this conference out at 3-3 or 2-4, even though this is a strong conference, you're probably looking at you're going to have to go on the road to probably
the top seed, one of the top seeds. Yeah, that doesn't.
So
I can see that.
I say it's going down just because of how high we were on them before. And
yes, we did give them good expectations. We both picked them to win the conference championship. They had the team to do it. Of course, some injuries have played a role in these last few games.
But you got to think.
But other teams have made good statements.
Right.
We're going to get to some of those teams in a second as well. But truthfully, I think holding would be the best way to say it, in my opinion, because I believe that I think they will still make the playoffs. I'm that trust. I can trust Coach Cornwell's team.
I trust that they'll probably make the playoffs.
Yes.
The thing about it is,
and they have a streak on the line. They got to keep that streak.
How far and how deep are you going to go in the playoffs?
That is a good point.
And I just look at it from this perspective of just where we were expecting. We were expecting maybe second, third round. Now I'm not sure if they get out in the first round with this team.
It's certainly.
It seems like when they've played competition so far, they've gone down.
That's a good point.
If they go down to North Lenore,
then then we really have to I have to reassess for sure.
Yeah, then you have to really reassess where this team is at talent-wise. I have no doubt that they'll probably get five wins at least.
So I talked about North Lenore. You talked about Aiden Grifton. Let's stay in the Eastern Carolina 2A Conference for a little bit longer and talk about the Washington Pan Pack. Despite losing last night to D.H. Conley 46-39, they had a great showing last night. And to me, they made a statement to me, even a loss, that a team as hot as Conley is, they were right there with a chance to tie the game right in the last minute of the game. So Washington stock up or down?
To me, they are up.
Ring the bell then. There you go. All right, now explain it to the people at home.
I think they're up just in a way because when you look at what they've done in these last 3 weeks, I believe they hosted.
They beat North Lenore, who was previously undefeated.
They beat North Lenore at home.
They beat
Aiden Grifton.
Yes.
At home, right?
Yes, it was.
They beat Aiden Grifton at home.
And then they went to Conley.
So then you went to Conley and
rescheduled game because of Hurricane Dorian, by the way.
Right, and you get a not a win. You get a moral win. You know, you hate moral wins.
Yeah, I know Coach Blank doesn't preach moral victory, but
Yeah,
he
sure. No coach should.
Of course, yeah.
But you get a moral win. The thing about it is, of course, Max Preps won't care about it. They don't go into your Justin Max Prep rankings, but you get a moral win. It's got to do something for your confidence.
The fact that you could go into a 3A school that's been on fire these last couple weeks with some big wins
and challenge them.
Yeah, they were right. They were right there.
The only thing that would be a slight concern for me right now at Washington is they still gave up 47 points to Conley. As good as Conley is, that's a lot of points. But
it could have been more too.
The good thing that I know about Washington though is they can score.
Yes, they can
score. Because I believe how much did they put on?
They scored 37 against Aiden.
Right.
They scored 39 against Conley. They scored
33
against North
Conley, 36 against Aiden, and then 33 against North. We know they can score. The defense did a good job holding both Aiden Griffin and North Lenore in check. Are you going to see better offenses in the playoffs? Absolutely. But to show against playoff competition that you can hold guys, I can hold teams to low scoring numbers. That's important going into the playoffs.
I would agree and also say stock up. We'll ring it again. But Coach Blank and his crew, they're making statements every week. They know that this conference championship, it looks like it's going to come down to that game on November 1st in Vanceboro against West Craven. And they're playing really, really well, complementary football with the run game, with Terry Moore, Jaden Hambrick, Antoine Godley balancing it out. Michael Warren's making plays. Chris Hill's making plays in short yardage. Stephen Hart on both ends of the ball, the offense and defense. Walt Gerard. They have multiple playmakers that can play both ways, and I think they're gonna continue to surprise some people. Well, I really don't think it's a surprise now.
Yeah.
I mean, they're that.
I don't think they're a surprise anymore. They're looking at the top 2 AA seed in the state right now. That's really where they're at. If you win this conference, you'll get that 2 AA seed.
100% agree.
So they'll be fine. Hate moral victories, but you got to enjoy it for tonight. Of course, a team that they've also beaten, Washington's already beaten, Kinston. Last night, 21-0 over Green Central. After going scoreless in the first half, put 21 points consecutively on the Green Central defense behind Caleb Gooding and Will London, who
London on the track.
Yeah, Will London on the track. And he was quite.
How about that Wildcat package?
Yeah, the Wildcat package was working.
Okay.
I want to say this because a lot of people don't really give him the credit. Coach Diesel is one of the best coaches around.
100%, no doubt about it.
A lot of people say just because of sometimes, I guess, of how he talks on camera. I guess to some people, just because of how built he is, he kind of looks kind of funny to people, and they think that he's just a strength and training. And he does a great job of getting those athletes into the right situations for them to be able to win.
He's a great coach, and his coaching staff is also one of the very best. The Bowie brothers, Coach Bryant, those are real good folks out there.
Right. So I just wanted to give them that little bit of shout of credit. Also to Will London, who last year was on the sideline dealing with some personal issues, couldn't play. Was on the sideline, being a teammate, rooting on for his team, learning the game, watching it from afar. He one of the great stories, just watching him kind of ball out.
Absolutely.
But as far as what I think that their stock up.
I like it.
Up. I think it's up. They gotta beat North Lenore. They gotta beat. I think they gotta beat North and North, and you gotta beat Aiden Griffin.
Yep, and then they play.
That's it.
Oh wait,
yeah,
are they off next week?
I think they have a bye. Yeah.
Or one of these weeks is a bye.
Yeah, one of these weeks is a bye week for them. I think they got to beat those two teams, and I think you're still looking at maybe hosting a playoff spot in the small 2A, which if you were able to beat
North Lenore
and Northern War and Eddie Griffin.
Yes.
I lost it for a second.
That'd be a good chance.
Yeah, that's a good chance of getting the second seed, which would put you right there for that second best spot in the 2A.
I've been kind of flipping and I've been back and forth on whether I should say holding or stock up. Like I'm like in between. Give it like a little ring maybe. Okay, yeah, that works. That's about right. I'm gonna lean stock up.
Right.
Yes, this was a huge win for them. They've kind of been struggling. So to get a win over a really good rival in Green Central is a big win for them. And yes, I do agree. In the small 2A, if they can win the rest of their games, they should be hosting a playoff game that first play for the first round.
Right. Of course, the team who they beat, Green Central. Tough loss. You go to 4-4 now. You have Washington, Aiden Grifton, and Wes Craven left. And that's kind of a gauntlet, really.
Oh yeah,
Losing that first one north of the border to me was.
That was probably the stock down moment. Would you say?
Yeah, I think right now I'm gonna say the stock is down.
Yeah, as much as we don't want to say it, because
right now you're sitting at 4-4. You need at least 5, and
they can get. I believe they can get.
I believe they can get Aiden Grifton. I believe
if with a good game they should.
Right.
They can get it.
I
Yes.
think that they could get Washington, but it would have to be perfect, and it would have to be Washington.
Maybe Wes Craven's probably the better chance.
I think, to me, I think the best chance is probably Aiden Grifton.
Oh, that's a good point.
Washington, they match up well to Washington, but I do think Washington probably is a little bit more talented, though.
They do have a lot of depth.
That's the problem.
They have a lot more depth, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Not saying that Green Central does not. Of course, they have a
And,
lot of talent.
that's really important when it comes to football. Is just because
if you have multiple players that can play at multiple positions.
A lot of times when two teams step on the field, my best 11 could probably play with your best 11, but could my 13 play with your best 15?
You know, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, you gotta be for real here.
Unfortunately, right now it's stocked down. But if they can beat Aiden Griffin, they'll still have their their playoff streak, which I believe is 6 years in a row right now.
Only problem with that is if you win that, then you're probably going on the road to see Southwest Edgecombe,
which we would be. That would be not great because we've kind of mentioned them a little bit through our shows.
We've mentioned that they're one of the best teams in the state. Probably the best team in the 2A.
The small 2A?
Yeah, 2A just in general.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Good point.
They are small 2A, but I do think that if they were to play in the 2A.
If they were in big A, yes.
As far as the East, let's say.
Yes,
As far as in the East, I think that they would run it through thoroughly just because when you look at how they played look at how Southwest Edgecombe played Tarboro versus how Washington played Tarboro. Tarboro beat Washington.
It was a one score game for 3.5 quarters. About something like it was one score.
Oh, you're talking about the
Southwest. The function
20-7 versus 44-0.
Yeah.
It's a good reference point. It's not to knock anybody down. It's just I think Southwest Edgecombe is actually
they're that good
favorite to go to a state title game from 2A. But to move on, we're going to stay in 2A. North Johnston.
Well,
second win of the year.
First conference win, correct?
First conference win.
Definitely happy for Coach Barnett. First conference win.
He needed that.
We talked last week about the first of the 3 games that they need to have a shot at the playoffs. They got Farmville Central. They play North Pitt next week. That's another team that needs 3 wins to make the playoffs. So that'd be a huge game.
Southwest Edgecombe and then
Nash
finish
Central,
off with Nash Central,
which I believe they can get.
Yeah.
If they play really well.
Right.
But in terms of stock up or stock down, I'm going to say because they need 3 wins in the last 4 games, I'm going to say holding.
Yeah, I agree. I say we hold. If they
beat North Pitt, it'll be holding with a little up.
I'll probably go up.
Yeah.
Once they beat North Pitt.
But
You have to
you
beat
still-
North Pitt. It's a little discouraging that you didn't beat Farmville Central more. I hate to say that, but Farmville Central has been, easily one of the worst 2A teams in the state.
Yeah, it's been a rough go.
And Max Kirkland, I can say it for you alone.
Yeah, I mean they've lost to some. They haven't won a game yet. So it's been a struggle for the Jaguars this year.
So of course you're going to say Farmville Central stock is down.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's
going
going
to say that.
Or maybe you could say it's holding in a downward direction.
Unfortunately,
yeah. We'll move on from them.
They did improve this. This is the closest they've come to a win.
Right.
So you do gotta give them some credit. They did. It seemed like they
We'll
gave
say
it a
holding downward and keeping.
Yeah.
North Pitt 27-7 against Bedingfield.
Holding as well.
Yeah.
Because they're in the same situation as North Johnson's.
Right.
So,
Whoever wins probably gets to go up.
Yes, I would definitely say that.
They've been playing good football in the last few weeks, though.
Yeah, North Pitt has played good football most of the last. Yeah, I definitely agree.
Yeah. So to move, is that? Yeah, that's all from that conference.
We did Eastern Plains. We did Eastern Carolina, I guess.
Yeah. 2A. Let's keep it in 2A. Goldsboro.
The G.
58-24 to the Clinton Dark Horses.
I gave you a great pun yesterday. Of course,
We're gonna move on from
I said Clinton was a dark horse, but like a dark horse contender. Anyway, Goldsboro, stop.
Boo this man.
Look,
Boo this man.
Anyway, Goldsboro stock is holding in a down direction. I would say. I think they would if they can play their way to stock up over these next couple weeks.
Yeah.
But for now, giving up 58 to Clinton after actually a pretty good effort against Wallace.
Yeah, I think 36.
Yeah, that to me that was a little bit discouraging. So that's how I felt that. What do you think?
I'd say it's just pretty much holding, man. This has pretty much been Goldsboro all year, man.
That's a good point.
You haven't been able to really trust them to be consistent and be the team that you think that they can be.
Because they're capable of a lot.
Yeah,
if they play really well, they're going to challenge.
If you look at our power rankings, I mean, they have Jacquees McLean, who's a runner, who's in the running for Player of the Year. Brian Buckham, who's in the run for Defensive Player of the Year. Jacquees is also somebody who is in consideration for Defensive Player of the Year, as well as I forgot his name right now. But anyway, they have players. They have a lot of great athletes. Have not been able to put it together to get wins.
And I think they can agree. I think they would agree. I mean, they know that they're capable of a lot better.
Yeah. So it's just right now.
Holding's probably better.
Yeah, I'd say holding just
right down the middle.
Yeah,
they can play their way into the playoffs still. They still got to beat East Duplin and James Keenan.
Yeah. They have to beat James Keenan
they play
this week, senior night. They have to beat them.
Yes.
If they want any shot at winning the playoffs, just because Midway is going to be a really tough matchup. They're going to go on the road against Midway.
And at East Duplin
and then East Duplin to end the year. So it's at
some
point you have to figure.
They got to put it together.
I say you got to get 4 or 5 wins. It just has to happen. You have to get 2 of these last 3 if you want a chance at it. I don't think this team is a 3-win team. I don't think this team is a 4-win team. I think this team should be in the playoffs.
I totally agree.
Yeah. So.
And we love the coaching staff and Coach Tim Ray.
Right. Of course. Now, is there any more 2A teams that we have to hit? I think there's all the 2A teams.
I think so.
Yeah. So let's move down the road. I was at Eastern Wayne versus New Bern. 3A, 4A Eastern Carolina Conference meeting. Eastern Wayne just got outpowered by
William Lovick.
Yeah, William Lovick
that kid
amazing last night.
I'll tell you.
I think he took the 3rd play from scrimmage to the house from.
He's so good, man.
Him, he's definitely a guy. He's definitely
the 4th leading rusher in the state coming into the.
He's a guy. He's a guy.
Yeah,
he's
but
a man.
Torrey Noel's got a lot of great
Zacchaeus
players.
Brooks.
Yeah,
he played a hell of a game last night as well. I believe he had 2 touchdowns as well.
But Eastern Wayne, they had a kid that had a long touchdown run.
Yeah, JJ Murray, he did his thing too. Really, right now for the Warriors, I think the stock's got to be down.
The stock's down. It is partly their doing, and it's partly their schedule.
Yeah. I mean, they've had a tough schedule, but I mean, the problem
they still had games where, like the Goldsboro game, they should have had.
Goldsboro should have had that.
They lost. No, they beat Sutherland. No.
Yeah.
There's another against Norfolk Norris, another game. They've had 7 turnovers. I mean, it's just it's been some of their own doing, but then once they could not get those non-conference games that they had to have. Going into a conference with New Bern, Rose, Connolly, South Central, Aycock.
I mean, and going into last night, they still controlled their destiny because they only had 1 conference loss. But now you have 2.
And Connolly still got 0.
Yeah, Connolly still has 0. They have Connolly. They have them on the schedule. You got to beat Connolly. You got to beat Connolly, beat Rose, and beat Aycock. All in these next 3 weeks.
You have to win out. Yeah.
Win
out just for a chance.
That is tough.
It is.
That is very tough. I mean, if you win out like that, I think you would be.
You'd sneak in, maybe.
I think possibly.
Maybe.
But they put themselves in a hole coming into conference, and now they're gonna have to play their way out of it.
I agree with stock down. Southern Wayne might be the same way as well. Would you say?
Southern Wayne, yeah, we're gonna keep their stock down. Of course, 43-0 beat down against South Central. Southern Wayne, it seems like since that James Keenan game, they've had a couple of. They had that one against Norfolk where they could have won.
The loss on the tie extra point missed. Yeah.
Kind of messed up against Goldsboro.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's just been beat down.
It's kind of a similar situation.
Beat down. After beat down for these last 5 weeks. I think last 4 or 5 weeks.
And speaking of South Central, since they played South Central, I'm going to say stock up for them. So we haven't rung the bell.
Yeah, I definitely.
They just their defense has to play well these last few weeks for them to have a shot at the conference title because they still have a chance. Albeit a small
I believe if they beat New Bern, I think they take the top 4 AC from their conference.
Yes, I believe that is correct. And that's going to be one great. I think they play Rose next week.
I think that would be. I think they would have to beat Rose, New Bern,
and Connolly.
They have Connolly left?
Yes, they do.
Okay, well, they control their own destiny, though.
They do, yes.
So if they win these next 3, you win the conference.
Yeah, probably.
So South Central is still right there. These are very well.
I was going to say, I know we kind of wrote them off after they lost to Hereford County, and it was right to do so because their defense just they weren't playing as well as I thought they would. That's why I thought they would win the conference championship.
But they've done a great job.
But they still have a chance. They've
done a good job of hanging around. They beat the teams they needed to. They beat South Central. They beat Southern Wayne. They beat Eastern Wayne.
They have a chance. That's all they want.
Yeah.
You know when they have a chance, they usually take advantage.
You go undefeated these next 3 weeks, you win the conference.
So yeah, their stock is up. Let's see, Connolly's stock is also up. You can ring the bell for them. We did talk about their game against Washington earlier.
Yep.
I mean, Nick Hamilton throwing for nearly 300 yards and 5 touchdowns. LaShawn Atchison, 4 touchdowns, nearly 200
yards. They've been finding a way these last 4 weeks, man.
And that's another team that's heating up.
We buried them when they were 0-3.
But at the same time,
we should have.
But they also played a gauntlet.
They played a gauntlet, but they didn't play it well.
That's true.
They didn't play.
When you play Scotland County is like state title contender.
Yeah.
Northeastern, they did struggle to a win last night, but I think they had a QB injury a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
But they were regional champ last year, and they're still really good this year. And of course, who was the third team? Rocky Mountain's Rocky Mountain's been really good this year.
So Rocky Mountain's a state title contender themselves. It's simple as this: we put them in a grave, and then they've dug themselves out of that hole. Nate
Connor they just sneak up on you. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
When you have Hamilton, Atchison, LaSure, I know he was hurt. Mabry at running back came in and played really well. Panda Askew, Matthew Rostar is a kid I've been raving about since the summer.
Right.
They're in a very good spot right now.
Right.
They are the team. They control their destiny more than any other team because they went out. It's theirs.
Right, and of course too because
and they remember how last year ended too.
Right,
so.
and of course because of where they are at right now as well, they can also lose one to either South Central. They can lose one against. Let's see.
They have South Central.
They can lose.
They have ACOG next week.
I say they can lose to Eastern Wayne, still beat South Central, still beat ACOG, and be fine. They can lose to ACOG, still beat Eastern Wayne, still beat South Central, be fine. They have given themselves some room away from everybody else in the conference just by beating New Bern the way they did the last week. And now,
I still can't believe that result right now. I mean,
yeah.
I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Something must have woke them up. If I said something wrong, I'm sorry, guys. Because the Vikings just went.
Staying in that conference, J.H. Rose was able to get a win over ACOG 28-21. Of course, ACOG suffered. Seth Shepard went out, I think Coach said, in the first 7 plays. And I think he said 2 or 3 plays after that. Hornrine went out.
And then Clay Matthews went out at the end with a really bad ankle sprain, I think.
Yeah, which we've been told right now we don't think it's a break.
Which is that's good news. Of course, we want them all to heal up and get better, of course.
Right. Seth, his injury is
it's a deep
hand issue and a wrist issue.
Deep bruise
in the bone. So that's not too bad.
It hurts, but it hurts, but he'll play. He's a tough kid.
Right. I forget what he said. Hornrine's injury was.
I would say it was a shoulder sprain.
Shoulder sprain. So, of course, like I said, Clay's already said to coach that if
Steve Brooks
if it's not broken, he's
exactly. Clay,
Clay's a gamer. He is he's cool, calm, and collect.
He's a kid that you could easily root for him. Man.
Yeah, I mean, he's like I said, he's a gamer. He'll be ready to go. I think right now though, you got to look at their stock as holding. I think really they're right there in that. I don't think they're holding up or down.
It's like look right dead center because this is the turning point of their season right now. Yeah. I mean, this game against Connolly could swing everything.
Yeah, I was because if you can swing it up really well.
Assuming they play, like their kids come back and they're playing, they have to have this. Both teams have to have it, really, in my opinion. But this game will be the turning point of their season, and I agree with Holding.
Right, I think it's right there in the middle. This is where we kind of find out whether it's going to continue to go up or if we're going to go down. Just because when you look at it, this game has to be pretty much their last loss because
they lost to New Bern, right? Yeah. And then they lost to Rose. So if they lose to Collin, that's 3.
Right.
And that's all but over.
I'm about to say that's out of the conference championship race, but then when you look at it, they're going to make the playoffs.
Yes, they will.
Winning either one of these 2 games, if you could beat Conley, of course, it would be much better.
That'd be great, yes.
But winning one of these 2 games or winning both games puts you in a position where you can still possibly host a playoff or get a team that is a good matchup for you in the playoffs.
Hopefully not like a long road trip, but a game on the road against a team you can beat.
Right, versus, say, a game where you're going on the road
and you're playing like Southern Nash or Rocky Mountain.
Yeah, something like that, and you're going to get, you're gonna have to play your very best game of football because they're gonna play their very best game of football.
Oh yeah. But yes, we do have to shout out Rose.
Rose is stock
for you. Up.
It's up for me, baby.
There you go.
I'm going up on Rose. I think they're the most talented 3-win team.
We said last week we said they're the most. I said they're the most talented 2-win team in North Carolina. This week they're the most talented 3-win team.
Yeah,
100%. We gotta talk about how they won. Of course,
they won late.
It was a Michael Allen touchdown catch from Wade Jarman in the final minute for the win.
Of course.
I know there were injuries on the ACOG side throughout the game. But that win might
needed
have changed their year. I mean,
they needed that. Now
that's 3 wins. Now they get Southern and Eastern Wayne, right?
They get Southern and Eastern,
and then they
Wayne,
play South and South Central.
and they get South Central.
I believe they can win all 3. And
You go 3-0, baby.
The world is your. You're gonna get a good playoff spot.
You're gonna get a playoff spot, and you're
maybe
probably gonna get a solid playoff spot as well.
I'm not sure it would be hosting, but it would definitely be a good seed.
Yeah,
a seed where you
probably get the 9th seed or something like that, somewhere in that range.
But that's all I'll tell you is this: if you're hosting a playoff game and you got to see that Rose offense, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, you hate to see it. It's
you hate to see it. But yeah, so I think they're up. You think they're up? You think holding? What do you think?
No, ring the bell. You know them. The Ramparts are up. You know the Ramparts are up.
The Ramparts
I
are up.
totally agree with everything you said. 100%.
All right. Let's see. That is everybody in that conference. Now,
yeah, we talked about South. Yes, we did. Okay.
Let's go and talk about
Coastal Plains 1A.
Coastal Plains 1A.
And then we'll do Carolina 1A.
Okay, that sounds good to me. So North Side, of course, is off. So we're gonna say their stock is up because that means teams lost. So
well, they're at 5 wins right now.
Yeah, they're at 5 wins.
So they're winning.
Does that include the Jones Senior?
Yes, it does. Okay. It does include the Jones Senior forfeit, I believe. No, they beat Jones Senior in the actual game.
That's right.
63-0.
Right.
But of course, Northside stock is up.
Who do they have left?
They play Southside last game of the year, of course, and this Friday they play South Creek. Huge game for playoff implications in 1A. South Creek beat Riverside, of course, their second time in school history they've ever beaten Riverside. So next week they can get that game. Both teams, that's a 50-50 game, really.
Right, and both teams need it.
Yeah, of course, they're going to need Carter Boyd, Sakai Wilson to step up and play big for them on offense. But yes, I would say stock up. Southside, unfortunately, I hate saying this because I love Coach Carroll and those boys, but I'm gonna have to say stock down. Unfortunately, they did play to me what's been the second best team in the conference this year, Pamlico County. Of course, with Savon Tut, the team.
But no, they still. Let's see. That's
they played
lost.
Yeah, they played Tarboro, lost.
Pamlico, and they still got what South side.
They have Riverside November 1st after a bye week this week,
right? And
Northside the end of the year. So they need to.
They need both of those.
Oh yeah.
They need both of those.
In the worst way. Because including the Jones Senior game, they have 3 wins. Right. So if they win those 2, that's 5. So they do need both. So yeah, Southside stock down, and you think stock down as well. Let's see.
That's it. No one.
Yeah.
Coastal Plains.
That.
Now to the Carolina Conference.
How about Princeton and Rosewood? We'll
start with Princeton. We'll ring the bell for them. Up again.
Do I get a chance to ring it?
Yeah, go ahead and ring it, baby. There we go. Yeah.
I'm also going to ring it for Rosewood.
Yeah, both of them big up. We got a purple bell here for Rosewood. But we're going to talk about Princeton, 63-20 over Hopton.
Good Hopton team.
Hopton scores a lot. I mean, 20 against Princeton is pretty tough.
But they hold them well under their average.
Yeah, that's Hopton against other than Rosewood, they've averaged 40 points a game. So Hopton's been on a little bit of a spell down these last few weeks with tougher opponents, but still, I think you got to look at Princeton stock as super up. They seems like they have handled Harley's injury well. Harley, of course, is recovering and could be back for either second playoff game or the third playoff game. So
if it's the second playoff game, then that would be in the third round because they would have a bye.
Yeah, they have a bye right now. Currently,
I think they're a
lock for a bye.
I think Rosewood is too.
Yeah, I think both of them, as long as both of them doesn't have some sort of meltdown in these last 2 weeks.
If I could make a clone and go to Princeton Rosewood on November 8th, and then I go to my game, that'd be great. You know,
come on down, man.
I'm not. I mean, if I
money.
I know. I need an excuse to go to that game because the collision course is still on.
That's the
somebody run me my money. Yeah. But yeah, Princeton and Rosewood both up.
Yeah,
both
are very up. Of course, Rosewood 40-7 against Lakewood.
Yep.
It's easy to tell.
Business taken care of. Yep.
I'm about to say both of these teams are taking care of business and just waiting for November 8th. Like we said, autopilot. They're on autopilot, just cruising. I thought Rosewood would probably get more than 40. Maybe they took the foot off the gas. Who knows? Like I said, November 8th. I'll see both of them. Well, that might be the only game this year where I don't leave, just because this is the first time where two teams in this area are title contenders and they're playing against each other. Both of them, I think Rosewood probably has the best shot just because they'll be in the smaller 1A versus Princeton, who have to deal with the likes of Edenton Holmes and Turner World. But I think both of them are teams that you got to look at as contending for that state title, baby. Yeah. Speaking of contending for the state title, Cleveland.
We'll go to the great news.
Yes, Cleveland.
Okay, that's not. By the way, it's not to be disrespectful. I was just doing that because I'm,
Yeah.
But yes, we're both stocked up on Cleveland. Of course, the Rams are
62-0.
Yeah.
Smithfield sub.
We don't. I mean, we already told you about Skylar Locklear and Amari Hampton. I mean,
I think to me next week, of course, our game of the week, Cleveland versus Clayton.
Oh yeah, we'll get to Clayton in just a second.
So you already know how it rocks. That's going to be a huge game. I expect a packed house.
We got to talk about Dakota
Marquise.
Yeah, he's playing really well defensively.
95 tackles, leading our power rankings for Defensive Player of the Year. He has been a force for them. I mean, guy isn't anything but 5'8", but he's out there.
For some reason, he's always out there getting to the.
He's getting to the ball. He's second on the team in sacks. He's leads the team in college in forced fumbles. Kid is a beast. He's doing a great job for that team. Their linebacking core is without a doubt probably the best. Is without a doubt the best on this side of the state, in my opinion.
Definitely the best in the area. Would you say?
Yeah, definitely best in the WJG or even probably the Just Like Brothers podcast area, because they do a great job. Hunter Morris, Garrett Jones.
So that's a really good group, 100%.
Right.
Speaking
Smithfield Selma,
we're both down, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, I've sold all my Smithfield Selma stock. I got a lot of love for you, Coach Parrish and the Spartans, but it's just been a rough year. I thought this would probably be the year where they could turn the program up and around and start going up.
They could still get to. I think
they got East Wake. They
have to get that one at least.
They might get Clayton, just because I know how bad they want to be Clayton. I mean, I know how badly they want to do it. They might play their best football game against Clayton.
They still have to play South Johnson or what?
South Johnson, yep, South Johnson. I'll be out there for their game against South Johnson. They're hosting them. Then, of course, I think they play Clayton for senior night, and I think they finish up with East Wake. So, East Wake, I think they can get that one, finish with 2 wins, 1 win improvement from last year. I believe 2 win improvement from 2 years ago. So, not too bad, but trending in the right direction. Eventually.
Speaking of West and South Johnston, we'll start with South Johnston because they beat West this year.
Stock up.
Yeah, a little ring. We'll give it a little ring for South Johnston.
A little bit. Beat West Johnson 35-12. It was 21-12 and fourth.
They now know they have a chance. Is that a second win of the year?
Third win.
Third win of the year.
Third win of the year. 3-5. Lost to Clayton. Thing is, you got to beat Cleveland. You have to beat Cleveland.
They still have East Wake, right?
Have East Wake and have Smithfield Summer next week.
All right.
So you have to beat Cleveland. You have to beat Cleveland, though. I don't think that's gonna happen. So. I still give them their stock up just because I think for right now it's going up. They're going to have, if you beat Smithfield Selma, you'll have 4 wins.
Well,
and then you got to hope and pray that you can, you're able to beat them as well as East Wake.
Well,
so if 5,
if
you beat Cleveland, I think you're probably in. If you don't, you got to hope and pray that
the ANPR helps.
That the ANPR puts you on
right
and
side
that
of the bubble.
64. Because otherwise,
All I will say is this: on the Wes Johnson side, if you had asked me about this stock up, stock down thing last week, it would have been
way up to
But
this week.
this week,
It's gotta go down, man.
this was a game they had to have.
Right.
They would.
See, here's the thing. You got West has probably the best remaining schedule left because they got Cleveland in 2 weeks, I believe, and then they got Triple S and East Wake as well. So
had they got this game, they could be.
They would be in the position that South Johnston is right now, where you probably need to beat Cleveland to get in, but you have a chance.
Yeah.
But now with that, you'll probably finish off with 4 wins. I'd say that's a successful season for Jermaine Harper
for year one, right?
Year one.
Definitely, we love our first year head coaches, man.
Yeah, they're doing a good job.
Jay Wilson, Jermaine Harper, Coach Barnett,
Yeah.
of course. I know Jim Collins is in his second year, and he took a winless team, has a chance to tie the school record for wins in year 2. But yeah, it's that was a rough loss for the Wildcats.
Yeah,
I'd say.
yeah.
Have we missed anybody?
We got Clayton.
Oh yeah, of course.
Clayton.
Sorry, Clayton. Comments are up. Yes. It looks like they're unless if they can surprise Cleveland, they're gonna have a chance. They'll have the conference. I think if they can surprise Cleveland, right?
If they would surprise Cleveland, I do think they win the conference. I mean, just because they have Triple S, West Johnston, Eastwood. No,
they played Eastwood. Yes, they did.
Well, they
took care of business.
They got Triple S, Cleveland,
and West Johnston. So yes, of course, we got to congratulate Jalen Chadwick, his first offer from Kentucky, Division II. Congratulations, man.
Yes, sir. Congratulations, my good man.
But yes, stop up for Clayton.
Jalen Chadwick, of course, he is going up on our running back rankings as well this week. You can check our power rankings out.
It'll be coming out Monday. What you say?
Yeah, he'll be going up in our player of the year rankings too, because it looks like Comets are going to finish above 500. And we love winners around here, man. We don't really too much care for winners when it comes to power rankings, you know.
What is your saying, Kai? Wins over stats?
Wins over stats.
But hey, stats are good as long as you're winning.
As long as you're winning. There you go. Yeah, you can't be 70 points in a loss.
That's true.
You can't be 6 touchdowns in a loss.
But
anyway.
I think we've gotten to all of your squads.
Corinth owners.
Oh, and Corinth.
Man,
hey, you know what?
Stock is down.
I know when I saw 34-7, I got
34-7 is not bad. It's great for
is that team? Yeah. But unfortunately, yes, their stock has to be down because
they got a tough conference schedule left.
They still have to play with Rolesville,
Knightdale, Wakefield.
They could get Knightdale. I still think they could if they play well. That's probably the conference game they can get. Rolesville might be out. Roseville could be out the window, and Wakefield could be out the window. But Knightdale they can get, in my opinion. Yeah. Nonetheless, unfortunately, because they had such a great start, we have to say stock down.
Of course. Let's see who's left.
Our 8-man squads.
8-man squads. Of course, Wayne Christian, they've already finished up the season, so their stock has been sold and is no longer viable anymore. Bethel Christian, stock up, stock down, got number 2 seed in the state playoffs. What do you think?
I'm holding, but if they can win their semifinal game, I might ring the bell as an all-in bid for poker, you know?
They got Northeast.
They will play. I think it is November 1st. I want to say it's either next week or November 1st.
Right.
But nonetheless, yes, they had a drawing today in Wilson between Northeast/Hopgood Academy, Bethel, and Halifax. Halifax got the 1 seed. Bethel 2, Northeast 3, and of course Pungo is 4. We'll get to Pungo in a second. But yes, Bethel they have their players back. They have. If their game is on November 1st, they have 2 weeks to prepare for the state playoffs. That could help. If they got 1 week, they just got to come in ready to play, and defensively, they got to be a whole lot better if they want to have a chance to win a state title, which I still believe they do have. What do you think? A little ring? Okay, one little ring.
We'll give them one little ring just because they get that number 2 seed. That's big. You're a host a playoff game. And of course,
that is good news. They didn't get the worst end of the draw, which
Yeah.
is what Northeast got.
Right.
Let's be real.
So I think that'll help. If you can win that, then of course you go to Halifax Academy. You lost to twice. If you can find a way to beat them, win a state title.
Hey,
That's pretty much it. You got 2 games
hey,
to win a
look.
state title. Man.
I'll just for reference. Last year, I know this is the Division One. This is an example. Faith Christian won the state title last year, beating St. David's. You know, St. David's beat them down in the regular season.
Yeah.
So
Just because 8-man football is insane.
just because you win twice against the same team doesn't mean it's gonna go the right
8-man
way.
football does not make any sense at all.
Because 8-man football.
Because 8-man football. Pungo Christian, up or down? What you thinking?
Well, considering that they made the playoffs, I'm gonna give them an up. You know why? Because considering their numbers, the fact that I know they did their win total decrease, but with their lack of numbers and the fact that they made the playoffs, the season will probably be over after they play Halifax. But I just wanted to give Coach Keach and the crew a lot of credit. That's really my stock up. You gonna give them a little ring too? Or?
Yeah, that's my ring. Start up, made the playoffs. Good job.
It's gotta give them the second year in existence. They made the playoffs both years.
Yeah.
Let's see. What other 8-man team? How about JP2?
JP2.
First conference win in school history. We'll give them a stock up for that. Why not?
2 rings.
We'll give them 2 rings.
For JP2. Got in the end zone. My man Tyler Feldman at WITN.
The victory zone, yes.
The victory zone, yeah. They did it. They beat Rocky Mount Academy. Did not think that they were going to beat the highly prestiged Rocky Mount Academy 8-man football team. But they did it. Got to give them a couple rings for that.
Got to give Sean Murphy and the crew some love. And of course, I think our last team that we get to talk about is Arundel Parrott, APA, the Patriots. I'm going to ring on this one.
Okay.
The Patriots won their first conference championship in 14 years yesterday. What are you doing?
I'm giving them a lot of rings.
That's a good ring, but the first conference championship in 14 years, I couldn't believe that when I found that out.
Yeah, I mean they had won all those state titles as I think like two or three seed.
Yeah, that's true. But they won the conference championship last night with a 28-0 win over Fayetteville Christian. When I called you yesterday and told you that the score was a whole lot closer than that, you're just like, But
28-0 is not a close score.
It's not, but
it's
if you were
not a
there,
close game either.
But if you were there, it was closer than it indicated.
It can be a tight game at 28-0, but it can't be a close game.
Yeah, okay, fine. But anyway, it was a competitive football game.
I mean, it was competitive. We'll give that 28-0. Of course, Fayetteville Christian messed up 3 times in.
They had 2 chances inside the 5-yard line. Did not score. Had a snapped over the quarterback's head on the first one. Then they scored the touchdown, but called back for holding, and they got nothing. And then the third time was also because of penalties again. And they also couldn't take advantage of a 4-yard punt. But and that was the only punt of the game. Nonetheless, APA didn't have that many possessions.
Yeah.
So with what they had, they were still able to manage over 400 yards of offense. Trey McLaughlin did his usual, 176 yards and a huge touchdown to open the game, break the game open late in the third quarter. Wilkes Thomas, the freshman, I mean, what more can you say about that kid? He just stepped in for Reynolds Behringer, who got hurt, the original starting quarterback. Blake Smith had a couple touchdowns. Hunter Blythe had, I believe it was 2 fumble recoveries and an interception. And they got a lot of contribute. Jonah Beeman contributed, of course, he's a senior. They have a lot of really good players that are coming back as well for next year. But of course, it was their senior night. They had to go out the right way. Got one more game, regular season game at Rocky Mount Academy. November 1st, they will host the semifinal. Well, stock up.
I think, Spring Creek.
Oh, yeah, Spring Creek.
Spring Creek. Well, I got to say, their stock is holding. You know what? They've done a great job this season.
They've been competitive these last couple weeks.
I mean, they're a team that's probably, when you look at it, their games have probably been a little bit closer than the scores indicated, just because they're tough. They don't, as far as they don't just lay down.
Considering what the situation is, you gotta give those kids credit. They playing their hearts out.
Yeah, got Beargrass Charter. I think they get another win, 2 wins. That'll be nice.
They'll still have a chance to get some wins.
That'll be a nice, successful.
I definitely agree with Holden. I definitely agree with Holden. So yes.
Yeah, it's kind of just is what it is. I think after that, that's everything. I think that's everybody. Yeah.
I feel the stock up, stock down thing was pretty fun.
Yeah. I had a good time. Ring the bell. Come on, ring the bell some more. Ring it nice and loud. Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah. I kind of hurt my ear a little bit.
Yeah, you rang it too loud close to your ear, buddy. Come on now. You got to
Okay, I hope you enjoyed. The show today, people.
Yeah,
of course.
Rapper Reaction Show. We are now at 387 YouTube subscribers.
Really?
So
give us the 400, man, and then give us the 500, 600, 1,000.
We just asked for 13 right now.
And then
we'll ask for 500 once we get close again.
Baby steps, yes.
Baby steps.
Of course.
We're gonna ask for 13 right now, so please give us
13. We also like to say thank you. We are over 1,000 Twitter followers, of course.
Yep, and we are now over 850 on Instagram.
And you guys are helping us grow.
Yeah. Make sure you give us a Facebook like too, man.
Of course, look at all our videos on Facebook. I mean, there's a lot of really good content from this guy up here.
Yeah.
And of course, we want to send our shout outs to the Parrot again for winning that conference championship. In my opinion, I just got to say it one more time.
Yeah.
And I think we had it was a crazy week. Teams made statements, in wins and losses, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And
I do want to just throw this out there. The only teams that control their destiny that are left: Cleveland, Clayton, Princeton, Rosewood. Those are the 4 teams who can win their conference title by winning out. As far as my area, I don't know about you.
Conley, Washington, and I think that's it.
Yeah, Conley, Washington.
Oh wait, South Central could win out and win the conference.
Right.
Let's see. I think that's Parrot won their conference, and technically Bethel shared the conference championship as well. So we got to congratulate them, of course. I think that's it.
I think that's it, man. I think that's everything, man. I think we went over everything and everyone, and
don't we talk about a lot of teams between the two of us?
There's a lot of stock up and a stock down. So thank you for watching this fine afternoon. It is Saturday afternoon after the game. Here is a ring for you. Your stock is up. Our stock is up.
Yes,
everyone's stock up.
Of course. One more thing before we go. You can follow Kai Jones on Twitter at MMJ Kai Jones. You can follow me at StrikeNation24 or at LMA Preps, whichever one you prefer. I prefer neither. And of course, stock up for everybody. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next week, and we'll see you on the next Just Like Brothers podcast. We out.